So, greetings, students, and today's class will be moving on to your fifth unit. So, the first unit we have started with your uh, overvoltage and its causes. So, second unit we have dealt with your dielectric breakdown in different mediums, starting with your gas, vacuum, liquid, followed by a solid medium. And then we have moved to your generation of the high voltage in your third unit. So in the fourth unit, we have learned about how to measure your high voltage as well as your high current. The fifth unit will be dealing with your testing of the high voltage. Okay. So we will be in today's lecture. We will be seeing about what is testing and why you need the what's the necessity of testing your high voltage. So in which materials you will be testing and some of the important terms will be dealing in today's lecture. So we'll be moving on to the lecture directly. So these are the contents what we'll be seeing. First, the need for testing of a high voltage, followed by the some important terms. So these important terms will be asking in your 2 marks. So disruptive discharge voltage, this you already have studied in your first unit as critical disruptive discharge voltage. So in case of your corona, you have studied. So followed by the withstand voltage. So after that, flashover voltage. Okay. So this flashover voltage also you have studied in your third unit. So we'll be seeing about these terms in a brief manner. So moving on. So testing of electrical apparatus, mainly high voltage electrical apparatus we'll be doing. Okay. This is what your unit 5 comprises of. So, as I said, in case of Unit 4, before learning about the measurements, we have studied about what are the need for measuring techniques. Similarly, before getting into the testing part, we have to know about the necessity of testing. Okay, so the main necessity of the testing of electrical apparatus or electrical equipment is to know about the capability or the withstanding ability of an electrical apparatus. Okay. So generally in the transmission and distribution side, before erecting any power system structure, they will be carrying out your testing part. Okay. So each and every electrical apparatus has to go through this testing part, and after that only it will be erected in the power system network. So during that testing, what they will be checking is they will be the electrical apparatus. You can either take an insulator or transformer will be subjected to a different testings like load test, followed by your OC test, followed by your AC test. So each and every test will be carried out before erecting in the power system network. So while such kind of testing, if any deformity or any kind of manufacturing problem occurs, will be you can easily pinpoint it and you can replace the electrical equipment. So it is one of the main necessity for testing your electrical apparatus. Okay. So the second point is that if you can able to measure the withstanding over voltage through the testing technique. Okay. So these withstanding over voltages must be within the prescribed standards. Okay, such as your IEEE or IEC standards. So such kind of necessity will be it can fulfill only through the by testing of the electrical apparatus. Okay. So generally these kind of testings will be done in two categories. So these two categories you already know. One is your power frequency voltage testing and another one is your impulse voltage testing. So you already know power is power frequency. That is, the power frequency is nothing but the domestic frequency through which your voltages are supplied. So it is nothing but a 50 hertz. Then the impulse voltage tests are nothing but these tests are carried out for a very short time period. Okay. So this is what the necessity of the testing. So moving on, before getting into the testing part, you have to know about some of the predefined definition of some parameters. Starting with your disruptive discharge voltage, followed by the withstand voltage, then 50% flashover voltage, and 100% flashover voltage, followed by the three-phase resistance, then the AC test voltages which have been involved, followed by impulse voltages, then reference atmospheric condition. What are the atmospheric conditions through which the tests are carried out? Next is your flashover voltage of the test object. So these are the definitions or the parameters you have to know before getting into the testing of any of the electrical apparatus. So starting with the disruptive discharge voltage. So this definition you already know. The same which we have studied in your unit 1. So what they're saying is that the voltage which produces the loss of dielectric strength of an insulation. So in your second unit, you have studied about the dielectric strength of the insulation. See, when the dielectric strength of the insulation breaks down, there will be occurring of a discharge. Okay, so here what they're saying is that discharge or the voltage which required to conduct the insulation medium is called as your disruptive discharge voltage. Okay, so what is its effect? If you are getting into the effect means the effect caused by this critical discharge voltage is that this leads to the collapse of voltage and passage of current. Okay. So in the power circuit, if this critical disruptive discharge voltage occurs, means it might damage the or it might disrupt the normal functioning of your voltage or passage of the current in your power circuit. So this is an undesirable effect. So in case of the solids, this causes a permanent loss of strength. Okay, in case of liquids or gases, it might be getting into the only the temporary loss. Okay, why in the sense means in the solids your molecules are tightly packed. So once if the strength is lost, then the molecules cannot be bound together again. But in case of your liquids or gases, this is only a temporary loss. Why this means the molecules will be in the free state or it may be in a loosely bound condition. So what happens is that even if the disruptive discharge voltage occurs, it has the capability to bind together again. Okay, so this is the main difference which happens in your solid as well as liquids and gases. So generally what happens when a discharge takes place between two electrodes, okay, either in a gas or a liquid or any kind of a solid surface, then it is called as a flashover. Okay, so this is a definition for the flashover. So other thing is that if you are having two electrodes and you are passing out electric current means there might be some distortion in between the medium. So this in between medium might be causing some discharge through it, and the sudden change or the sudden discharge is called as your flashover. And if this discharge occurs through a solid insulation, it is called puncture. So this corresponds to this previous, it is indicating the previous point. Okay, that is, if the discharge is occurring in a solid medium means it's called puncture. Why in the sense means it has the solid should not have any kind of regaining property within itself. Okay, so that it will be there will be it will be as a whole and it is called as a puncture in case of your solids. So next is your withstand voltage. So as I said, for each and every parameter there will be some standards. So this withstand voltage standards is given by Indian standards. IS refers to Indian standards. So Indian standard 731 and Indian standards 2099 1960 responds to this stand voltage. So if we are googling or searching this kind of standards means we can learn about this stand voltage in detail. So what do you mean by stand voltage if they are asking means it is nothing but the voltage which has to be applied to a test object under specified conditions. Okay, so this corresponds to a withstand voltage. So that is the voltage what you will be applying will be predefined under some conditions. Okay, so it is more or less similar to your Ohm's law. That is in your Ohm's law, what you will be doing is you will be predefining the voltage is directly proportional to your current under one condition. The main condition is that under your constant temperature. Similar to that, this withstand voltage is will be also applied under the set of specific conditions. So then it is called as a withstand voltage. So moving on to the flashover. So we have seen about the flashover. So this is regarding your 50% flashover. So what do you mean by 50% flashover means? This voltage has a probability of 50% flashover when applied to a test object. So you have to take a test object. For example, you can take an insulator, and if you are applying a 50% flashover, okay, that is the insulator insulator will be subjected to the 50% flashover means it will be subjected to a critical disruptive voltage of 50%. Okay, and the insulator will be tested and it will be noted down or it will be recorded. So this is normally applied in impulse test in which the loss of insulation strength is temporary. So mainly through this 50% flashover, they'll be testing your insulation strength. So moving on to your 100% flashover. So here the voltage that causes a flashover at each of its application under specific condition to the test object will be of a 100% flashover voltage. So over here the flashover voltage will be applied in a 100% condition also with some criteria. So that is some specific conditions. So then it corresponds to a 100% flashover. Okay. So this is what regarding today's lecture. So I think with this we can wind up today's lecture, and thank you.